Hello everyone and welcome to the website channel. Today with a very special topic. I mean, indeed very special. The new patch notes are there and of course a lot of changes, bug fixes and polishing. I know that a lot of people wished for more polishing, more bug fixing and stuff, but yes, Starworld will do that in the upcoming months. I also expected more territory control improvements and balancing changes because it's currently still broken. But let's go through the list quickly. There's a new dungeon on the map. The Undercroft can now be found somewhere in the middle of Merland, near the sausage lake. Campus has left Tindrum and will be back again next winter. They also added support for AMD upscaling frame generation, so you have maybe less stuttering with AMD GPUs. They also fixed the Epic Game Store UI problem. Multiple changes have been made to improve both level streaming delays and game freezes. We are working actively to improve these issues. The visuals of the heavy horse armor has been replaced. They updated large parts of the spirit farming experience, yeah, because that was pretty boring. I haven't tried it out, I haven't tested it. Maybe a test video will follow up. But if you tested it right now after this patch, please leave a comment below if it's better or worse in your opinion. Then we have movement and combat, which is really important. And oh boy, that will change a lot in combat. Charging an attack until the charge circle blinks will now allow for a feint while maintaining the charge power. We will keep a close eye on this new combat mechanic for any necessary balance adjustments. Yeah, I mean, we are basically now beta testers and paying $15 for that a month. I'm feeling a little bit pissed. I mean, awesome Starworld that you do balance changes that the community wants, but maybe you should test it on a test server first before you implement it live, and then we all should test that. No. Increased one-handed weapon miss recovery time to 500 milliseconds. So basically a nerf for one-handed weapons. Increased counter reduction damage mitigation. Mitigation. What? Oh, it's another word for less. Oh, okay, yeah. Now very interesting. Increased swing normalization time slightly. This allows clients to sync attack animations better and will result in higher ping, players experiencing less attacks going through parries. This is maybe the solution that everyone cried for and are pissed about the ping problem. Hopefully it will help. Reduce the duration for disabling input while switching weapons and shields. Adding better handling of players going out of world bound. The invisible weapon bug seems fixed, and the bugs where bows did no damage. Now to the AI. Removed the default behavior of AI with bows that made them keep their distance to their target by moving away from the player. Some AI will still use this behavior though. So this basically the fix of the riser ranged attacks. Also the next point, AI with both melee and ranged equipment should now switch to melee equipment more often when players come close to them. Reworked AI ranged attack code. They will now miss like intended. So finally the AI has also a miss rate. And Starworld understood that the riser ranged attacks was one of the worst things that they could patch into the game. 10% miss rate at 50% of maximum range and up to 60% miss rate at 100% maximum range. And they also fixed a lot of AI stuff. But this is basically a change that a lot of people asked for, and thanks to Starworld that they adjusted that. We need to test it out. I personally would have loved it if you have the combat changes, the AI changes, and the balancing changes on a public test server and test it for 1 week or something like that the whole community can test that before you implement it on the live server. Because we had that in Mortal Online 1 and Starworld, you always patched in stuff and it was broken shit. Not all the time, but a lot of time it was broken shit. Then you reverted that shit, and then you patched it again. And if you do this with Mortal Online 2 right now, then this is the definition of insanity. You failed the first time trying to make this approach of patching, and you failed miserably. And I really hope that you don't try this again. So now shortly to UI and interactions. Basically a lot of fixes there, and that you can drop an empty loot bag, which will cost server performance and stuff like that, is fixed. And for magic, you will now gain experience for the magic school you are currently using based on the mana cost of the spell. Finally. This makes leveling magic schools much faster. Thanks. Updated tracing to improve aiming while using spells. These both things should have been implemented 2 years ago. Just my personal opinion. So now to the most important thing, the attributes, the skills, and the Clade gifts. And yeah, the full Kurites, Sidoians, and Carlads total attribute point pool was increased to 474. So basically also a buff to all Thursars who had a mixed race with these types. Stalker Clade gift should now work as intended and reduces the range at which you can be spotted by 30%. And decreases aggro generated by 10%. And now the Thursar Clade gift Adamant is now a toggleable buff, and you can freely toggle this on and off. The toggle has a 10-second cooldown. And a buff to passive regeneration. Passive regeneration now ticks every 6 seconds from 0 to 1 health points instead of 60 seconds from 0 to 10 health points. So it's more passive and more steady, but in the end it's the same. It's more constant. I guess it's a less random factor in there. Also very important in this patch, mounts and pets. Mount boost mode no longer turns off automatically. Rider and passengers of a mount will now be knocked down upon abandoning the mount. Reduce the duration of disabling input while mounting and dismounting. Finally, and also some other fixes. Now the changes all waited for. Guild NPCs that are killed now respawn after 20 minutes instead of 5 minutes, and supply tower guild defense provided was reduced from 3% to 2%. Okay, Starboard, I've just one question. So you have a guild. You have your keep, you have 80% of defense, you have your supply store building, then you have your supply lines, then you also have your supply towers, and you are basically unsiegeable because you can have, here it comes, a supply house, a supply line, a tower, somewhere on the map, doesn't matter where, and it counts to the defense. And this is I don't know, this is a no-brainer for me that this is not working. And if you ask all the veteran guilds, all the big guilds, everyone, nearly everyone who is fighting in TC, who is making TC all the time, if you ask them, they can give you the answer that supply tower gathering and supply lines gathering all around the map that counts to your defense is shit. It should only count if it's very, very near you, and everything beyond that is like, no, it doesn't count at all. But yeah, please leave your opinion about that in the comments. I know a lot of people were waiting for the TC fixes since over 2 or 3 months, and nothing happened there. And now we have these patch notes here, and I can guarantee you that there are hundreds of people out there who are very close of quitting just because of that. Because a lot of guilds currently are unsiegeable. This is because of these mechanics. If the other guild has 100 players, you will need a guild with 1000 players because you need to control the whole map and all the other supply buildings everywhere and all the other supply lines everywhere just to make sure that you can siege that keep. This is so beyond insane. But I will stop here. This is just a patch notes video. I'm pretty sorry. And finally, some fixes in floating, landscape, weather, and lighting. Now to the game rendering and performance. I mean, Starboard did a lot of that. You can see it here. They updated the engine settings to reduce image smearing and improve sharpness and stuff like that. They also changed the compression setting and package structure to reduce disk read delays to improve gaming streaming. This was especially hardcore if you had a normal hard drive. This was not the game, nearly impossible to play on a hard drive. You need an SSD or an M.2 at least. I really recommend an M.2. If you don't have an M.2, buy an M.2. And buy a decent CPU. If you're using a CPU that is older than a few years, then you will have a problem with micro stuttering, you will have a problem with FPS, you will have a problem with everything. They also fixed the problem with the NVIDIA Reflex, which is awesome, and they disabled multi-threaded generation of creatures fur to see if this is the cause for the game locking up several seconds for some players. So basically what this patch note means is like we try a fix on a problem, we do it in this patch, and we see how the people react to that. For me, this is something testers should test, that you pay, Henrik. I mean, you said it in your streams all the time that you have a dedicated test team that you pay for, that they are testing the boring shit no one wants to test. And then you're patching in something like that. Are you serious? And what a dedicated test team is this if they can't even test this? Then if you hired a company for testing stuff, and they this is their only business model to test stuff, and they can't test this. And you have to patch it in for your live players, for the people that pay for your service, to test stuff like this. It's like, what? What? I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love the patch. I like the patch. I love it. I expected a little bit more, especially on the TC side. And maybe it's just my problem because I feel traumatized from the Mortal Online 1 experience and how Star Wars patched Mortal Online 1 all the time. Maybe that's the reason why I'm so emotional and traumatized from that. And I really didn't like it how they patched it in Mortal Online 1 because this was people were driven away from the game. Because of these changes all the time. And for the other stuff with the game rendering, you're paying a company to test that. So why are you testing stuff on the live server? Why? Please let Starworld and me know what your opinion on this is. Please leave it in the comments. And yeah, please leave a like and subscribe and ring the bell. And special thanks to all the supporters, of course. Carmel, Professor Lukario, Rhonus, Paarthurnax, Cologne, Bulldog, Giovanni, Vargas, RealMadWurst, Bib, Greta, you, and all the others, of course. And yeah, Kalat and Kurite and Sidoyan balance hard. Yeah, I mean party hard. See you all next time. Goodbye.